It's going live again. All right, I'm live. All right. So is it live now on YouTube? Someone tell me. I was having problems getting it to connect. So go ahead and tell me I'm live on YouTube. I'm annoying all these poor people on TikTok tonight because I'm streaming on TikTok on a phone because I can't get the cameras to connect. So this is annoying. All right, so am I live? All right, it's working. Outstanding. All right, so there we go. Now I'm live on TikTok and I'm live on YouTube. So in TikTok world, if you want to see the multiple cameras and the normal, what you'll see eventually when I get this TikTok thing figured out, it's the CD929 FM page on YouTube. And that's where it's streaming right now. All right, so how's everybody doing tonight? Everyone all right? Tuesday night, right? Tuesday night fights. I know it's Tuesday night because there was green garbage cans out today. It's raining. We're in Columbus, Ohio, and it's episode 178 of Randsanity. So the picture today was of an old koozie, which was someone drinking, someone rocking, someone scoring, which is sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and just in that particular order. And the idea that rock stars are just like us because they're just like you and me. They put their pants on the same way. And trust me, there are rock stars that are complete, absolute assholes. Just like some of your friends are. They're just not great. And I've met plenty of not great rock stars. I've met some of the best rock stars. I have the phone numbers of rock stars. They call me. I'm friends with them. I actually know them. And then there's the ones that I just don't know at all. That I'm just like, wow, you are such a jerk off. But that's okay. That's how it works, right? Everybody has that personality. Because sometimes what you see on stage is not what they're like in real life, and vice versa. Sometimes when you see on stage, you're like, oh, wow, you're super nice. Like, not even close to what I expected. And that's the most fun. That's the fun one, when you don't expect what their personality is, when they're really, really different. They're really, really either super nice or super jackassery. Like the one picture that Jared Leto, who Grayson did an interview with, he was so nice. He was the nicest guy ever. I mean, he's definitely a character actor because he can put himself in the role. But he came into town when he went to do the whole interview thing was he came into town for Clear Channel. Okay, we were not a Clear Channel radio station. And he came in to do a thing for them. He wound up staying with us for hours. He donated $1,000 to the charity we were doing. And he just talked. And he was just chilling out. And he was went upstairs and watched this band that was practicing. And he videotaped them. It was just these kids. And they were like, holy crap, is that Jared Leto? That's 30 Seconds to Mars. And I was like, yeah, he's just hanging out, man. It's just, he's just doing this thing. And that was the third time he'd been to the radio station. So he was just, a dude. And then we have other bands that have not been so dude-like, where, I don't want to talk crap about bands, but man, there's some bands that aren't that great. Turn TikTok camera if you have. Okay, so I should turn it? Okay, see, I wasn't sure. That's because no one was telling me. All right, hang on, I can turn it. I got to unhook it and then turn the camera. So let me see if it's better now. Oh, shit. Crap, sorry. I just totally dropped the holder for it. That sucked. Sorry, buddy. Didn't mean to drop stuff. I'm just breaking shit. All right, hold on. I'm going to put this camera back up. All right, let me see if that one's better. Oh, wait, it's blocking that camera down. All right, is that better? There we go. Wait, no, what did I do wrong now? Shit, what did I do? Uh-oh, did I change that? What is it looking at? Oh, wait, the lens is going to block that. There we go. Okay, hold on. No, I got to put it there. Jesus, this is more difficult than I thought. Hold on. I'm getting it here. All right, it's a little crooked, but it's better. Is that better? Is that better, Jello Gello? Now it's correct? Right angle? All right. Okay, so sorry, YouTube people. I was trying to fix the TikTok camera because it was cattywampus. All right, now you can see it doesn't look so weird, right? Now you can see the Death Star and everything. All right, way better, thanks. Woo! Of course, well, I didn't know. I have no feedback. It's way over there. I can't see. I can't use the other cameras. So, all right. Anyway, back to it. Welcome to Randsanity, episode 178 for the people that are following that. There is no missed episodes because it just goes in no particular order. We talk about music, trivia, bands, artists, things when it comes to movie stars, movies, movie trivia, that kind of stuff. Just stuff that goes out through the ages. And then I throw my own interpretation in there and the chaos that ensues. And sometimes it's polite. Sometimes it's actually really rude because, yeah, people can be complete jackasses. Like we were talking about Bill Wyman, who dated and married a 13-year-old from the Rolling Stones for 2 years and divorced her at 15 years old. What the hell's with that, bro? Seriously, you're a 46-year-old man and you got mom's permission to marry a 13-year-old. That gets douchebag of the day, right? I mean, am I wrong? Just saying. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about some stuff. Way better, way better. All right, 1969, John Lennon returns his MBE. Now, if you don't know what the MBE is, that's what they get from the royals. They get that from the Queen or whatever. It is the members of the Order of the British Empire. Now, John Lennon gave it back because he did it in protest. Protest against Britain's involvement with the Nigerian Biafra thing. Protest with the United States being involved in the Vietnam thing. And protest against Cold Turkey slipping down the charts thing. Now, Cold Turkey was a song that him and Yoko Ono wrote, basically talking about them going cold turkey after their very brief heroin addiction in an album. Which, sure, I had a brief heroin addiction. Good job, John. So you protested that no one liked the song Cold Turkey because of your heroin addiction. Fair enough. Fair enough. What am I going to say, okay? Now, that's part of the, drugs. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. So that'll be falling to the drugs. And then 1976, the band farewell concert in San Francisco, California at the Winterland Ballroom with Neil Young, Joni Mitchell. That also had Van Morrison and Ringo Starr. The show was filmed and it was produced into the movie called The Last Waltz. And that was produced by Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese has lots of fame and fortune of doing all sorts of great bad guy movies. Now, that's also the very infamous Neil Young Coke Booger movie. If you've ever seen that movie and you haven't, just look for Neil Young's big old Coke Booger in his nose because it's infamous. There's books written about how much it was. Because Neil Young apparently did a lot of cocaine right before the shoot and someone was like, Neil, you need to fix that. I'm good. Right onto stage. Someone should have told him a little better. Rock and roll, 1988, Chuck Berry's guitar legend extraordinaire at 62 years old paid $250 because he had to deal with the assault charge that he had to resolve in New York City. Assault. Chuck Berry's assaulting people at 62 years old. So there's hope for me then. I'm just not going to assault people, but the hell, Chuck? I mean, that's rock and roll as it gets. At least it wasn't Liam Gallagher this time. Okay, there's no Liam Gallagher arrests this time from Oasis. If you notice that every time there's always a Liam Gallagher brawl, it's in a bar and he's arrested for something. This one I was like, really? 2013, Disney releases the soundtrack for the movie Frozen. Okay, sure enough, right? It wins a Grammy for the best compilation soundtrack of visual media, okay, for 2013. It also wins Billboard Album of the Year for 2014. I mean, really? I've seen the movie Frozen. It's cute and funny and all, but I mean, I met Josh Gad when I went out and did a premiere. But really? Best album from Billboard for the year 2014? I mean, come on, that should have been a Taylor Swift thing, right? I mean, Taylor Swift won that like every time, but Frozen. Did she sing on Frozen? Is that what I'm missing? Is that why it worked? I don't know. I'm confused by that one because I'm Frozen. Sure. In 2021, Peter Jackson of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, the Frighteners movie, which was actually a really good movie, released the documentary series The Beatles Get Back on Disney Plus. So that premiered on the 21st of on 2021, today on the 25th. Now, this is a guessing game, okay? In 2017, Naya Riviera was arrested for domestic battery. She was that chick in Glee. Really? So was she arrested for domestic battery in Florida, California, or West Virginia? West Virginia. I thought that would have been a Florida story for sure, but apparently not. So, yeah, Naya Riviera arrested for domestic battery charges in West Virginia on the 25th of November in 2017. And domestic means like a partner? So, wow, I didn't know she was violent. I guess she wasn't all that gleeful. I'm just saying. That just makes sense to me, right? Somebody had to do it. All right, we're going to jump backwards here to the 1965 Harrods department store in London, England, closed their entire store to the public so the Beatles could do their Christmas shopping in private. Now, you definitely have some pull if you can close Harrods. Harrods is like as big as Macy's in New York City. So they closed the entire store like 3 days before Thanksgiving, before Black Friday, and all the crazy shopping, because even in 65, they had sales to let the Beatles go shop. I can't think of any other band that's pulled that much pull to actually have like that big of a place closed. That's like having Disney closed for your private party. Sure, you got like $10 million cash to close it for the day or more. I mean, what do they take in a day? That just, you got some swank there with that one. In 1965, a band called The Seekers were number one on the UK singles chart with The Carnival Is Over. It's never over. Just so you know, don't ever think it's over. The Carnival is never over. It just isn't. It was the group's second number one, and it was originally a Russian folk song from 1883 with lyrics written by Tom Springfield, the brother of Dusty Springfield. At its peak, the song was selling 93,000 copies a day. Okay, that's a freaking shitload. 93,000 copies a day. And it's number 30 on the biggest selling singles of all time in the UK. I mean, think about 100,000 copies a day. 10 days, you're at 1 million? I didn't say how many days it went, but that's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. And again, I did not get a chance to listen to that song, so I cannot tell you if The Seekers' number one song, The Carnival's Over, was any good. Normally I get to listen to the music. I didn't get a whole lot of music listening tonight, so blame me if it sucks or if it's good. I will take all the credit and all the suffering for the sound of The Carnival Is Over. In 1966, the Jimi Hendrix Experience made their UK live debut at the Bag of Nails Club in London. Now, Bag of Nails, there's some in Columbus, Ohio. I didn't know if they're associated or not. I was like, I think they probably just stole the name because the Bag of Nails here kind of blows. It's one of these crappy, kind of Chi-Chi's restaurants, kind of Chili's. You'll get some food, old Bag of Nails. It says nothing great. Anyway, they played in the Bag of Nails Club in London where they played using the club's DJ booth. Eric Clapton of Clapton himself, Pete Townsend of The Who, The Beatles, Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones, Brian Jones, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, The Hollies, and the Small Faces would all hang out at that club. So Hendrix was in good company there with a whole bunch of rock stars doing their thing. Now, this goes back to the whole John Lennon thing. Apparently, this 1969 thing, when he gave back his MBE, he gave it back to the Queen herself. And pretty much was like, piss off because, you're involved in the whole, Biafra war thing, Vietnam and America, and my song sucks. And no one's happy about it. So to give it back to the Queen is kind of a whole, up the old poop chute for you, Queenie, from John Lennon. you know, that's the way it works. Now here comes some sex. In 1972, Chuck Berry was #1 on the UK singles chart with My Ding-a-Ling. And I did listen to that song because it is actually kind of funny. I was like, really? All right. But I mean, #1 song? The 70s had a very different vibe to the music, I'm telling you. You know, because if you just listen to it, you'll understand that it's kind of just, it is what it is. Anyway, it was his only UK #1. The song was originally recorded by this guy named Dave Bartholomew in 1952. Chuck Berry's version was from a concert that he recorded in the Locarno Ballroom in Coventry, England, of all places, on February 3rd, 1972. The Boston radio station WMES disc jockey John Connors was credited with a gold record for discovering the song and pushing it to #1 over the airways and amongst his peers in the United States. So there you go. You got to give it to a DJ named Jim Connors from WMEX in Boston. Now, and that's, when I looked up the call letters, I was like, WMEX, I don't know those calls because they seemed weird because it doesn't seem like the right call letters for Boston. Oh, crap. Sorry. So one of the things that you guys don't see at TikTok is that if I don't touch this camera after 20 minutes, it goes to black. So YouTube just lost their feed for a second. Normally, I'm paying attention to that, and I change cameras, so sorry. Hey, at least if, Todd, you're watching tonight, I did turn the heater off, so the motor won't be making its noises. Sorry if it's rocking a little bit there, TikTok people. I kind of bumped the camera. This is kind of a train wreck, but it's all right. It's a funny train wreck. I'm going to live with it tonight. How's the audio tonight, by the way, Gello? Is the audio better? I've got the new microphone. See, I can actually move it around. It's not just sitting on the desk. So I can kind of move it with me and scootily wah wah. Better audio, hopefully. No? All right. Let's see. This guy died in 74. Nick Drake. I don't care. Sorry, Nick. We talked about The Last Waltz. That happened in 1976. Yup. Let's see. What about this one? So 1984, Bob Geldof, Bob Geldof came to the radio station once. There's a black and white photo of me and Bob somewhere. And of course, the story is that at the time, one of the women that worked at the radio station, she was the receptionist. And her and Bob hit it off rather royally at the time. So much so that she flew with him to Chicago. And that whole, there's the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Well, I think that falls into the sex part because she spent 2 days with Bob Geldof in Chicago. So the cream of British pop world gathered at the SARM, S-A-R-M, Studios London to record the historic Do They Know It's Christmas? The single, which was written by Bob Geldof and Midge featuring Paul Young, Bono, Boy George, Sting, and George Michael. It went on to sell over 3 million copies in the UK, becoming the best-selling record ever, and it raised over $13 million worldwide for his charity. So good old Bob Geldof. But I remember he was very nice. I mean, he was Pink, remember? Pink. That's why I became Randall Pink. One of those things, you know what I'm saying? In 1992, The Bodyguard opened nationwide featuring Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. The film, which was Houston's acting debut, was written by Lawrence Kasdan. And in the 70s, originally as a vehicle for Steve McQueen and Diana Ross. So it was actually written 20 years prior to it ever being filmed. It became the second highest grossing film worldwide in 1992, with the soundtrack becoming the best-selling soundtrack of all time, selling more than 42 million copies worldwide. Now, see, that's a lot for a soundtrack. 42 million copies for a soundtrack? I mean, it is Whitney, but still, you got to give her props for that one. I mean, and I thought Frozen did well, which, again, I still can't believe. Frozen? Really? That's just ridiculous to me. In 1995, on the same day, just 3 years later, Whitney Houston went on to be #1 on the U.S. singles chart with Exhale, written by Babyface and taken from the film Waiting to Exhale. It gave Whitney her 11th U.S. #1. So that's nice to have those things happen on the same day, just 3 years apart, 1995. Good old Miss Whitney Houston. Now, going back to our friend Freddie Mercury, who died yesterday, the anniversary of his death on the 24th of November. In 1996, because he died in 1991, 5 years later after his death, a statue in Montreux, Switzerland, by sculptor Irina Seldeka was erected, we'll use the word erected, as a tribute to Freddie Mercury, standing almost 10 feet tall, overlooking Lake Geneva. It was unveiled by Freddie's father and the Montserrat Caballé, with bandmates Brian May and Roger Taylor also in attendance. Now, there's another one, I believe, that we're going to get to. There was another Freddie Mercury one I read somewhere. Where's that one at? All right, well, it's not close enough. We'll get to it. But remember how we talked how good Alice Cooper was? That he donated all this time and autographed stuff for those people who are going to lose their house? In the year 2000, a burglar broke into Alice Cooper's home and made off with over $6,000 worth of clothes, shoes, and cameras belonging to the singer's daughter. The goods were all lifted from Cooper's house in Paradise Valley, along with 4 of the star's gold discs. Now, see, I know what it feels like to have the gold discs lifted, because I had all those things stolen from the radio station, all those gold records that got stolen, and the platinum records that got stolen. So I actually went to a pawn shop today just to look. I didn't find any because I didn't go to the right pawn shop. But I'm going to keep going to these pawn shops and find it and just be like, hey, that's great. I'm calling the police. That shit's mine. So you need to give it to me. I'm not buying it. It's all stolen property. Just saying. That's the way it works. 2001, Robbie Williams started an 8-week run at #1 on the UK album chart with Swing When You're Winning. The album spent 57 weeks on the UK album chart, certified 7 times platinum, and became the 49th best-selling album of all time in the UK. So 7 times RIAA platinum means that it sold 7 million copies. Okay, that's not too shabby. For a single album to sell 7 million copies in 2001, it's pretty damn good. Oh, now see, this is where we talk about sex again and bad stuff. 2003, Michael Jackson launched a website to defend himself following allegations of sexual abuse of a 12-year-old boy. The singer posted a message saying, "These charges are based on a big lie." He wanted to end this horrible time by providing they were false in court. Michael, just saying. In 2003, Meatloaf underwent heart surgery in a London hospital after being diagnosed with a condition that causes an irregular heartbeat. The 52-year-old at the time had collapsed on November 17th as he performed at Wembley's Arena in London. His name was Robert Paulson. Okay, so if you saw Fight Club, that was Meatloaf. He was Robert Paulson. He was the one that got killed. You don't use your name only in death. His name was Robert Paulson. Oh, speaking of, in 2003, country singer Glenn Campbell was arrested in Phoenix, Arizona with a blood alcohol level of 0.20 after his BMW struck a Toyota Camry. He was charged with extreme drunk driving, not just drunk driving, extreme drunk driving. I don't even didn't know there was such a thing. I mean, isn't drunk driving just drunk driving? You know, you break the law, you're drunk driving. I'm extreme drunk driving. Hit and run, and assaulting a police officer. What is he, Mel Gibson, assaulting the cops? The police officer reported that while in custody, Campbell hummed his hit Rhinestone Cowboy repeatedly. Yeah, it sucks to get shit-faced and arrested. Not that I know from experience, but maybe. 2005, Madonna achieved her 6th #1 album on the U.S. album charts, Confession on the Dance Floor. It was her 3rd consecutive U.S. album chart topper. The album went on to be #1 in 40 countries, setting a new record. The Beatles are the only ones that had previously held anything close to that, when the Beatles' #1 went to that in 36 countries in 2000. So Madonna beat the Beatles. I'm bigger than the Beatles, says Madonna. All right, guess you are. Oh, 2007, Kevin DuBrow, the front man with the metal band Quiet Riot, was found dead in his Las Vegas home at the age of 52. Their 1983 release, Mental Health, was the first metal album to top the U.S. charts. The band's biggest hit was Come On, Feel the Noise, Girls Rock You Boys, a cover of the Slade song, which they are said to have grudgingly recorded in just one take. Grudgingly. Come on. So they were not happy with that? And then it became what? The biggest hit? You know, that's one of those things like, yeah, I don't really want to do this. Fine, we'll do it. And it turns out to be your best song. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That comes around to have STFU. If you know what that stands for, well, you can read about that sometime. Okay, here it is. 2009, Brian May joined Freddie Mercury's 87-year-old mother, Jer Belsara, in Feltham Town Centre at a ceremony to unveil a plaque to the late singer's memory. They were joined by over 2,000 fans from as far away as Japan and Australia, who descended on the centre in Feltham High Street in England. The plaque reads, Freddie Mercury, musician, singer, and songwriter, along with the dates he lived in Feltham between 1964 and 1968. Again, Freddie Mercury, anniversary of his death yesterday, 1991. Now, you've done this, so do not make this a TikTok prank. This is not something you want to do. So don't make me the one who starts this by telling everyone about this. In 2010, a restaurant fell victim to pranksters who had them make 178 pizzas by claiming they were for singer Bob Dylan. An imposter wearing a fake pass for a Dylan concert called into Antonio's restaurant and placed a huge order worth more than $4,000. He told the owner the pizzas were for Bob Dylan and his crew, who had appeared in the concert in Amherst, Massachusetts. Staff at Antonio's worked until 5:30 in the morning to make the pizzas, but were left stunned when no one returned to collect the order. Dude, come on. Poor Antonio's. What are you going to do with 178 pizzas? I mean, it's not like you can take them down to the local shelter either. They're, not closed. It's like, here's a lot of pizzas. So no, do not make that the viral thing. I do not want that to be my first legacy from TikTok. Yeah, this guy told us to make fake pizzas and order them from bars telling them that we were from a band. Please don't do that. I mean, really, don't do that. No, that's not what we want to do. Now, this sounds like I always found like it was a made-up story for a second, but I was like, I looked and I found it in other places. Don DeVito. Now, that's his name. It's not like he was a mafia Don. His name was Donald DeVito. So, Don DeVito. But he was a longtime Columbia Records executive, and he produced Bob Dylan albums Blood on the Tracks and Desire. He wound up dying on this day in after 72, at the age of 72, after a 16-year battle with cancer. He also worked with Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel, and Aerosmith. DeVito started off as a guitarist, touring with Alice Cooper, and had his own band, The Sabres, which later broke up mid-tour. According to Columbia Records, DeVito was stranded in Fort Smith, Arkansas, when he happened to meet Johnny Cash, of all people, and developed what would become a lifelong friendship. Johnny Cash would later introduce Don DeVito to Dylan. I mean, That's how that works. Yeah, I'm stuck in Arkansas. Hey, you're Johnny Cash. What's up? My name's Don DeVito. I could just see this New Yorker being like a Johnny Cash, like, hey, yo, Johnny, what's going on? You're like, thank you very much. I'm the Man in Black. Don DeVito. I was like, that just, I can't believe that's is really his name. This one seems like it's boring. Who cares? Yeah, no, that's definitely rock and roll, but we don't care. I'm not going to do it. Blah, 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 blah. Nope, you died. We don't care about you. Sorry, I just don't mean to, just saying, sometimes that just happens. Irina Cara, the American singer and actress, died from hypertensive heart disease at 63. She rose to prominence for her role as Coco Hernandez in the 1980 musical film Fame. So that's why she was important. And for recording the film's title song Fame, which reached #1 in several countries. In 1983, Cara co-wrote and sang the song Flashdance. What a Feeling from the film Flashdance, which she shared as an Academy Award for the Best Original Song and won a Grammy Award for Best Female Pop Vocalist in 1984. She originally was cast as a dancer in Fame, but when producers David De Silva and Alan Marshall heard her voice, they rewrote the soul of Coco Hernandez for her to play it. So, hey, I just stepped on to be an extra in this, and now I've got a starring role. That's how that works. Okay, that's how that works. All right, born and died. Let's see who was born and who died today. All right. Today, 1920, he was born. He died in 2009. Ricardo Montalban. He was Mr. O'Rourke in Fantasy Island. He was Khan in Star Trek. Khan! Ricardo Montalban. He also did commercials. I'll never forget he did commercials for, it was like Chrysler Cordoba with fine Corinthian leather. Like, what the fuck is Corinthian leather? It's like Naga hide. Save the Nagas. Don't take the hide of the Naga. What the hell's Corinthian leather? I don't know. Now, also born on the same day, 1926 to 1969, Jeffrey Hunter. I was like, wait, why is that? Because that was Captain Christopher Pike, also in Star Trek. He was the original captain of the Starship Enterprise when it first came out. He was on the very first episode. Christopher Pike. He was Jeffrey Hunter. I was like, okay, well, that's funny. Two Star Trek references of births. 1944, on this day, 81 years old today, Ben Stein. Bueller. He was the teacher in Ferris Bueller's Day Off that was sitting there saying Bueller over and over again. He's also a political correspondent. He was born in Washington, D.C. 78 years old today, John Larroquette from Night Court, but he was also in Stripes. I remember him in Stripes because he was Captain Stillman. He was the one that got busted who was playing with like playing with little dolls. And the dinosaurs were attacking each other. And he came in and he's like, go do something. My truck! Where's my truck? When they stole the whole thing. If you haven't seen Stripes, watch it. It's funny. It's a funny ass movie. I'm just telling you. Who else was born today? Christine Applegate. She's 54 today. From Married with Children. Love and Marriage. Al Bundy. That was the daughter, Christine Applegate. Just saying. Let's see. Now, and again, this was I found to be a third one. 1974, just died last year. Kenneth Mitchell. He was also in Star Trek. The recent Star Trek, but 3 Star Trek stars born on the same day. It's a three-peat. What can I say? And then lastly, born on this day, 1990, Stephanie Hugh. She was Joy Wang, and she was Jobu Tupaki from Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I love that movie. That was such a funny movie. I've watched that at least half a dozen times. But yes, Joy Wang and Jobu Tupaki. Stephanie Hugh. birthday today, 35. 35. On the death list, we lost Mark Lanigan of Screaming Trees and Queens of the Stone Age. He died at the age of 57. Mark Lanigan. Also, we lost Rodney Shepherd of Sugar Ray today. He's gone. We lost him. Let's see. In 1981, at 74, we lost Jack Albertson. He died today. Jack Albertson was Grandpa Joe on the original Willy Wonka. Remember the old guy that was always in bed? That was Jack Albertson, apparently. Because I was like, wait, why do I know that name? That's right, because he was Grandpa Joe. 2023, at the age of 86, Sid Croft died. Sid Croft and his brother Marty Croft created Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, H.R. Pufnstuf, and the Slee Stacks from Land of the Lost. Now remember, if you go Google H.R. Pufnstuf, this was a stoner show, man, for like kids. It was this giant-headed dude who had these big old baggy eyes. It was just stoner city that these guys got away with these Saturday morning cartoons. That was just crazy. Sid and Marty Croft. Just ridiculous. And then lastly, who just died last year at the age of 15 years old, Bodie. He is gone. He was the menswear dog. So if you go Google Bodie, the menswear dog, I was like, oh yeah, wait, I know who that is. That's Bodie. That's the menswear dog. You know, he's a celebrity, right? He was famous. He's probably got more subs than most of us. I mean, that's the way it works, right? What are you going to do, right? That's the way it is. Sometimes you're famous. Sometimes the dog's famous. That's how it goes. All right, so it's Tuesday night. Thanksgiving's in 2 days. So hopefully if you have travel plans, you've already executed them and you're wherever you want to be and you don't have to still travel, because traveling for the holidays sucks. I'm just telling you, I don't. All right, I don't. I'll be right here tomorrow. I'll be right here Thursday night. I'll be right here Friday night, because I don't travel for Thanksgiving. Nobody comes over, which is lovely. It's just this completely just mellow Thanksgiving, just turkey, food coma, and nobody. I don't have to deal with my drunken, like, crazy uncle. Because I do have a drunken, crazy uncle. We all have a drunken, crazy uncle. But I actually have a drunken, crazy uncle. I mean, and if you see this, sorry, but you know it's true. You do know it's true. You are a crazy, drunken uncle. He's a drunkle. Right? Like Uncle Stan, my crunkle. Crazy uncle. Yeah, crazy Uncle Stan. Yeah, he's my drunkle. My drunken uncle. So I don't have to deal with that. So I don't have to deal with any political phrase. I don't have to deal with any crap about, you don't have a job. What are you going to get a job? What are you going to, how about just shut the fuck up? All right? I'm looking for one. No one will hire me. I did radio for too long. I'm typecast now. All right? And no one hires radio guys. So I have to like make my way now and become a social media influencer so I can sell you products. And I can go do fun stuff. Oh, by the way, for the TikTok people, I just was in I was the co-star with Stephen He in this YouTube thing, Heinz Verified, Day Trippin'. So if you go Google Day Trippin' and you like Stephen He, it's a different role for him. But yes, I'm the guy who drove the van. The man in the van, as they say. So yes, there's usually a still I can put up, but you can't see it on TikTok and you can't see it on YouTube because I don't have that connection anymore. Something's gone crazy with that whole wiring thing, so I got to deal with that. So, all right, so let's see. I have to remind people, hit like, YouTube people, hit like. You're supposed to do that. You know how to do that. This thing, I'm supposed to get what? Diamond, stars, ice cream, something? I don't know why I'm supposed to get that. Is it good? Do I get ice cream? Is that a good thing? I don't understand what that means. You know, so you're going to have to school me on this whole TikTok thing. This is new. I posted on TikTok, but yeah, the live thing, just it's new. And again, not being able to do it with other cameras, I'm kind of only facing forward. So I don't get to like look at this camera or that camera or show you other things. But that's all right. Such is life in the big city. Now, I don't know how I'm going to say goodbye on TikTok because normally I do fade to black. So I'm going to have to like, fade to black. I don't know. Hi. Yes. Oh my God. It's Randy. Hi. Oh, I can't see who it is. I just got the #2 gifter badge. Hi, Randy. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Rachel. I don't know which Rachel is. Sorry. I can't see. It's really tiny because it's on my phone. I'm trying to get permission to do TikTok again. Celebrity birthdays and deaths. Ask about famous dogs. I did. I just told you about the dog. The famous birthday, the death of the dog. It was Bodie. He died on this. He died on this day in 2023. He was the famous Bodie. He was the menswear dog, right? I can't see that. That's AI. Oh, AI's asking that. Hi, Zoe Grace. I was an intern here now. It's nice to see you. Oh, hi, Rachel. Yeah, it's nice to see you too. I can't see what your picture looks like, but I think I remember which Rachel you were. We had lots of Rachels. But nice to see you, Rachel. Yeah, see, this isn't the phone. I'm trying to get back in the good graces with TikTok because, I don't know, it doesn't like me for some reason. So, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say goodbye to the YouTube people, so I'm not going to bore them. But I'm going to go ahead and say my normal. So, tomorrow, same place, same bat channel. We'll do this all again, but completely different. It will be Wednesday. So that is the traditional go out and get shit-faced with your friends night because it's the night before Thanksgiving and everyone's home from school and wherever. It's dead in my neighborhood. It's completely dead. Everybody's gone. The street's empty. It's beautiful. I'm the Zoe you know. Hi, Zoe you know. Yeah, so I don't even know what's going on with that. That's what's going to be crazy tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll do something exciting for tomorrow night. I may do demo. I may get some video of demo tomorrow. I've got a sledgehammer ready to go for this kitchen I'm going to destroy. So maybe we'll do that. And yes, I promise tomorrow, TikTok, you may not get to see it if I can't get it figured out. Once I do, I'll re-show it. I'll edit the Matt and Kim crowd surfing where I break my ribs. Yes, I'll edit it, Zoe. I know you want to see it. I know you can't wait to see me get dropped by kids and break my ribs and, the x-rays and all. All right. So my friends at YouTube, thank you. I appreciate you. I am grateful for you all. I look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow, and we'll do this again, but completely differently, I believe, as far as I know. If not, well, it'll be the same, but with different things that go on. That's it. So as per usual, I will say adieu, and I will fade to black. All right, so TikTok people, that is the end of the YouTube stream. There you go. So that was my YouTube.